In this video, I'm going to show you how to change a Magellan website's fonts. Note in this video, I'm using my browser's developer console to make these changes, but you can use whatever application you prefer. Before we start, I'll explain briefly how Magellan's fonts work. Magellan has two types of fonts. Application fonts, the fonts for the text generated by Magellan on the content page that's most of the content outside of the content window, and content fonts, the fonts for the content you create and author it. That's everything inside of the content window on the contents page. All of the fonts Magellan uses are controlled by CSS files. Although, like all websites, if your Magellan site uses an uncommon font, one that's unlikely to be installed on devices already, you'll need to make that font available for browsers to download. I'll show you how to do that at the end of this video. If you use Inspect, you can see most of the application fonts are controlled by the body class. I'm using Wingdings to demonstrate that visually. That's obviously not recommended for your Magellan website. Some fonts are controlled by other classes though, and you may have customized some fonts already. So the best thing to do is to search for the font family and font properties in Magellan's main style and theme style CSS files, changing them as needed. When you're done, you need to copy your changes into themestyles.css, then upload the modified file into your Magellan theme folder. A link to our video showing you how to do that should be appearing on your screen now. A quick note, remember to make several fonts available in case your visitor's browser can't display your preferred font. Skip to the end of this video for a full explanation of backup fonts and why they're important. Similar to the application fonts, if you use Inspect, you'll see most of Magellan's content fonts are controlled by the body text class. Some fonts are controlled by other classes though, and if you've created custom fonts for different topic types, there could potentially be a lot of different content fonts. The best thing to do is to search for the font family and font properties in Magellan's content style CSS file, changing them as needed. When you're done, upload the modified content styles file into your Magellan theme folder. A link to our video showing you how to do that will appear at the end of this video. Just like the application fonts, remember to make several fonts available in case your visitor's browsers can't display your preferred font. Skip to the end of this video for a full explanation of backup fonts and why they're important. If your Magellan site uses a font that's unlikely to be installed on devices already, for example if it doesn't come pre-installed with Windows, you'll need to make that font available for visitors' browsers to download. To do that, open the relevant Magellan theme folder, create a fonts folder if there isn't one already, then upload the required font files. Next time you publish a Magellan website with this theme, the font files will be included inside the website files. Earlier, I spoke about how it's important to list several different fonts for the font family CSS property. That's because browsers will attempt to display the fonts in whatever order you specify. In my examples, I used Wingdings, Arial, and Times New Roman, so browsers would first attempt to display the primary font, Wingdings. If that failed, they'd use the first backup font, Arial, and then the next backup font, Times New Roman, and finally the browser would use its default font. One of the common reasons browsers can't display a font is that the required font files aren't installed on the visitor's device, and the browser can't, or takes too long, to download those font files from the website that's using the font. That's why it's important to upload those fonts to Magellan and to specify some common backup fonts, so that even if a browser can't use your primary font, it will still be able to use a backup font that suits your branding. In my example, there was one primary font with two backups, but there's no limit to how many backup fonts you can have.